So when I was younger, I used to play PC games. I used to play Train Simulator, not that one, Microsoft Train Simulator. I used to download a route from UK train sim called Swansea to Carmarthen. And when I used to drive trains on this route, I do remember the coastal sceneries. And I do want to experience that for myself, which is why today you join me at Carmarthen station as we travel to Swansea, calling every single station between Carmarthen and Swansea.
Piccadilly, calling at Ferryside, Kidwelly, Pembrey, Middleport,
So Carmarthen did used to be a through station with services going towards Aberystwyth, but the line was cut back from Aberystwyth to Carmarthen in 1965 due to the Beeching Acts, and Carmarthen's since become a terminus station on a triangle junction. Now there is plans to try and reopen that line towards Aberystwyth, but I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. But also, there is currently proposals at the moment and consultations to run an express bus service from Bangor to Carmarthen, which roughly will take about 4 hours to do, calling at some towns and villages en route. But we shall be leaving Carmarthen on the 0831 Transport for Wales service to Cardiff Central, and the first station we shall be stopping at today is Ferryside. Do excuse the noise in the background. I think they're having some kind of convention. But we have now made it to the first railway station we're stopping off at today. This is Ferryside. And honestly, this station is just your bog standard Transport for Wales station with your waiting shelters. And I would say that's about it, but it's not, because the best key features are actually right in front of me. It's got a lovely footbridge that goes from one platform to the other. It does have semaphore signals here as well. And you saw for the footbridge, it does have my favourite thing at a railway station, a level crossing. And it's also got a signal box as well, which is not disused, because I have seen someone literally walked out that single box. But the scenery also around Ferryside is beautiful, because we're right next door to the River Towie. So there is some station history about Ferryside station, but honestly there's not really much history about this railway station. It opened on the 11th of October 1852 by the South Wales Railway. So where I'm currently pointing at is the railway station. Literally 30 seconds from the railway station is this beach that's right behind me here. And honestly, the scenery is just absolutely stunning. It does remind me of the Dawlish Seawall in Devon. And it also reminds me of places in Ireland like Blackrock and Killiney. But honestly, there's some stunning views here as well. Also in the distance, you can see the village of Llanstefan. Hope that's pronounced right. And also you can actually see Llanstefan Castle from the distance as well. So right behind me there is Ferryside railway station. Now I'm going to show you something in a second, because not many railway stations has this. But you're stuck at this railway station, you've got a 2-hour wait for the next train. And just across the street from here is this blue building right behind me. But that blue building is actually community toilets, and they're open to the public and they're free of charge. So if you do need to do your business, there are toilets close by to Ferryside railway station. Seriously, apart from those birds that are absolutely making a racket, Ferryside is a really nice place. I do enjoy my time here at Ferryside. Also, the service frequency at this railway station, during the morning and evening peaks, you get trains stopping here every 30 minutes to an hour. But during off-peak, you get trains stopping here or calling at here every 2 hours. And unfortunately, the next railway station I'm going to, I will have to have 2 hours at that railway station. But we are waiting for the 10:07 Transport for Wales service to Manchester Piccadilly. And the next station we go to is Kidwelly. So we have now made it to the next railway station we're stopping off at, and this is a 2-hour wait to this railway station. This is Kidwelly. Kidwelly is just your bog standard unstaffed Transport for Wales station with your basic facilities, but it does have some lovely brick or stone weighted shelters, and that's the only impressive thing about this railway station. At the east end of Kidwelly, it does have a single box and a level crossing, which I do like to see them at a railway station. At the west end of Kidwelly, you can actually see some wonderful scenery with the hills in the background, as Kidwelly is a bit more inland, but it's also got a World War II pillbox, which you can just make out as well. So there is a bit of history about Kidwelly Station. It opened on the 11th of October 1852 by the South Wales Railway. It was also a junction station for the Middleport and Grendaff Bally Railway, but that line closed in 1983. The reason the line closed was due to flooding. On the 20th of June 1957, a Royal Air Force Hawker Hunter crashed 200 yards from this railway station. Only the pilot of that plane died from the crash. So while I got 2 hours to kill at Kidwelly, I thought I'd walk into the town centre. Honestly, it's a really impressive town centre at Kidwelly. Also impressive is that building right behind me there, Kidwelly Castle. But seeing Kidwelly Castle from this level, it's one impressive castle. And I have enjoyed my time seeing Kidwelly Castle from the outside. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go inside the castle because I've got to head back to the railway station and wait for my next train. When I get back to the railway station, I'll explain more where I'm going to next. A little bit out of breath since I was rushing to get back to the railway station, but to be honest, I should have not bothered because the train is running 4 minutes late. But the next train to arrive is the 12:12 Transport for Wales service to Manchester Piccadilly, and the next station we go to is Pembrey and Middleport. Unfortunately, the train I was on was running about 7 to 8 minutes late, so I got less time here at this railway station, but this is Pembrey and Middleport. And honestly, it's just your bog standard unstaffed Transport for Wales station with weighted shelters, and that's about it. However though, it does have semaphore signals at this railway station, which are lovely to see, and it's also got a very good looking footbridge as well. In fact, that footbridge was actually threatened to be knocked down in 2012. But after a local campaign, the footbridge was managed to be saved and restored. And it's a lovely footbridge, to be honest. I'm glad they did not knock that footbridge down. There's not really much history about Pembrey and Middleport. The station opened on the 11th of October 1852 by the South Wales Railway. So the one thing I have noticed is Pembrey and Middleport does have a lovely seaside charm and vibe to it. And you definitely see a lot of boats around the area as well. Honestly, this is a lovely area, but shame I cannot explore this area. I'm going to head over to the old platform now, waiting for the next train. The 1316 Transport for Wales service to Cardiff Central, and the next station we are going to is Llanelli. So this station right behind me is not your typical unstaffed Transport for Wales station. This is Llanelli, and this station is staffed. It's also got lovely station buildings on both platforms as well. It does have a modern footbridge which has recently been installed. Even though the bridge will be disabled access friendly, it's currently not disabled access friendly because they have blocked off the lifts, so you can't get down to the platforms for the lifts at the moment. Also with Kidwelly is, the station is actually sandwiched between not one but two level crossings. And also at the west end of the railway station it does have a lovely single box as well. So there is quite a bit of history here at Kidwelly railway station. The platform we're currently standing on opened in 1852 by the South Wales Railway. I did mention this is the junction station for services along the Heart of Wales line towards Carmarthen and onto Shrewsbury. However though, it wasn't originally connected up to this line, because that was part of the first railway line that was built in Kidwelly. The Kidwelly Railway and Docks Company started building their line in 1834, and by 1839 extended their freight-only line to Pontarddulais. But sadly, Kidwelly also has some dark history as well. The Kidwelly riots of 1911. On the 18th and 19th August 1911, 2 days of railway strikes happened, which was part of the first national railway strike. There was a mass picket at Kidwelly station, but on the 19th August, strikers managed to stop a train containing strike-breaking workers. These are people who are working despite of a strike, but the strikers began rioting and a major from the Worcestershire Regiment ordered his men to fire shots at them, but two bystanders, a 21-year-old John, who was a tinplate worker, and a 19-year-old named Leonard Walsall, who had nothing to do with the conflict, were killed while the shots were being fired. Now I do love Kidwelly railway station, I just don't like that footbridge right behind me, it looks too modern and too bland. But it's good to see Kidwelly railway station will be disabled access friendly in the future. So our next train will be arriving very soon, the 1423 Transport for Wales service to Manchester Piccadilly, and we're going to visit the penultimate station, Gowerton. So we have now made it to the penultimate station we're stopping off at today. This is Gowerton. And Gowerton is your bog standard unstaffed Transport for Wales station, 2 platforms, waiting shelters, and that's about it. It does have a footbridge linking the 2 platforms, and that footbridge is disabled access friendly with ramps coming off the footbridge. Now what I've noticed at the western end of Gowerton is an abutment, and that abutment is actually a railway line that went from Pontarddulais to Swansea, Victoria, which I'll explain more about that in the station history very shortly. So I'm now going to talk about the station history of Gowerton Station. And if you said 1852, that is wrong, because Gowerton was actually opened on the 1st of August 1854 by the South Wales Railway as Gower Road. Shortly after, it was renamed to Gowerton. In 1950, it was actually renamed to Gowerton North because there was another station called Gowerton South. And that was on the Kidwelly Railway from Pontarddulais to Swansea, Victoria. But that line closed and the station closed in 1964 and has been replaced by the B4295 road. So you can see how these railway stations were very close to each other. Gowerton North is just a bit further down there. And if I turn the camera this way, this is the B4295. And Gowerton South was literally just here. And right next door to Gowerton South station, or the disused station of it, there is a Greggs. That's why I got a Greggs coffee. Even though Gowerton's a bit basic, it is set in a nice area. But it's time to leave Gowerton on the next train. This will be our final train we shall be taking, the 1527 Transport for Wales service to Cardiff Central, and we'll go to Swansea on this service.
We are now approaching Swansea.
So we have now arrived at Swansea, or Abertower, and honestly travelling from Carmarthen to Swansea today has really been wonderful. Some stunning scenery, especially running alongside Carmarthen Bay as well. And the railway stations, they might be a bit bog standard unstaffed railway stations, but the surrounding area those railway stations were in, what made it so wonderful. And when I was at Kidwelly, I was actually there the night before travelling on the Heart of Wales line, visiting 2 railway stations that was 5 years in the making. And that video is popping up on screen right now. Feel free to give that a click. The people on screen now, YouTube channels, patron supporters, thank you for supporting the channel. I've been SimOnTrains and hope to see you at the next railway station so we can embark on a new journey together. Thanks for watching.